and see what happens. I just don't. I don't. Okay, well, Karen's watching something out there that just sounded like the house came down.
I was going to say, God. I said, the jets don't fly on Sundays around here. So I was like, wow. That was pretty good.
So you heard it?
Yeah. That was pretty good. Maybe Karen had like a jackhammer or something in the living room. It's like, wow.
Well, you just never know what happens when you start recording a podcast. So this morning, right, I get up. So F1 is on this morning. And it's such a weird race, right? Because it's in Singapore. So the race starts at 5 a.m. our time. But it's actually a night race in Singapore. The whole thing is just, it's so, like, the time differences, it's just so maddening if you want to watch a race live when you're in the United States. So I got up around 4:20 this morning so I could get all set up and whatnot. And I'm sure you noticed, man, this morning, absolutely beautiful outside. Like, oh my goodness. It was phenomenal. So I immediately opened all the windows in the living room, the sliding glass door, trying to get all that cold air in the house. And then the dogs next door come out because they have a dog door from their house to the garage door. They immediately come to the side of the house and start barking. They're Labradoodles, so they're huge dogs. And they're just barking and barking, and Karen is sleeping. I had to shut the window. I was just so mad about it. They were so loud. I have no idea what got them outside or what made them. Maybe they heard me open the window or something, but man, it was aggravating.
Well, that sounds like a good segue to our planned discussion today. It's when animals attack at the place to be.
I know I sent you the pictures.
Yes.
There's like a little, right on the tip of my nose, there's still a little bit of a scab there, but that other side they're both dramatically better than what happened or what after it happened. But yeah, our little dog Bane, which is a very appropriate name, he's a little terrier and he's 13 years old. Bane has always had a little bit of an attitude problem, I would say. Not with strangers. You've been around him and stuff like that. He's not an aggressive dog. He's not a dog that generally even barks at anybody. He just really doesn't care. He just doesn't. He's not going to waste your time trying to snuggle up to him or anything. He'll let you pet him and then he'll go on his way. But definitely, I would say in the last 2 years, he will give us a little bit of a growl if he doesn't want to be pet. If you try to move him, especially when he's in bed with us, if you try to just kind of shove him over a little bit, man, he'll give you a good, like, don't do that kind of thing. So he's not aggressive, but definitely vocal about what he likes, what he doesn't like. I think it's almost been 2 weeks ago this week. One night we were closing up shop out in the living room, going to bed. Bane was sitting on the couch in between Karen and I. I reached over and patted him on his head and went to give him a kiss on the top of his head. He just turned right into me and bit my nose so hard. It wasn't like he took a nip and let go. He kind of grabbed on. And it was really Karen that got him away from me. But at that point, the damage had been done.
So he latched on to you.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure it was maybe a second, right? Maybe it was a second long.
Right.
But it felt like an eternity. We bought a new couch last year, like last November. It's a really awesome couch. It just looks like a standard two-piece couch, but under one of the sections, it has a pull-out before putting your feet up. So it almost looks like a hide-a-bed kind of thing. It's not a bed, but you just pull it out, and now you can put your feet out, and great. But it's not even a year old. So my first thought isn't even about my nose. My first thought is, I do not want to get any blood on this couch. But I'm in so much pain. And it was literally Marsha Brady. I kept saying, my nose, my nose, my nose. I was in shock. Not like PTSD shock. I was in shock that it happened. Like, what the hell just happened? What in the world? First of all, I've never been bit by a dog. I know you have. It just absolutely shocked the hell out of me. Now, after the shock, and I have both my hands over my nose because I know blood is coming out, I didn't think it was that much. But then it just started streaming down. I had the two marks at the bridge of my nose and the very tip of my nose, one on one side, one on the other. Bane had actually gotten his teeth under my nose.
Ouch.
So when he got under there, that's where all the blood was coming from. It wasn't coming from the top of my nose. So now it's just pooling out into my hands, right? And so now I've got my hands under my nose. I'm over the couch, but blood is now making it to the carpet below us. So and Karen's like, run to the bathroom. And I froze up. I did not want to run to the bathroom. I wanted to calm myself down and just keep my hands under my nose until I could collect myself. Finally, I got up, went into the bathroom, and that's when I really saw how bad it was. Karen was trying to stay calm the whole time, and she's very good at that. But I could tell by the look in her eyes and her reaction, she must have said, "Oh my God," like 3 times. She was in shock, kind of like I was. And I could see the look in her eyes was, we're going to need to go to the hospital or urgent care. I was like, I think I need a medevac. Let's get the helicopter and find me out of here, because I don't think I've ever in my life, between playing sports, doing crazy stuff as kids and teenagers, I don't think I've ever lost that amount of blood. I just can't recall a time where I walk in the bathroom and it's just running. My arms are covered in blood. My shirt's got blood spots all over it. It was insane. And this is coming from a dog that weighs 11 pounds max. This is from a tiny little dog. And it was unreal. I ultimately said to Karen, when you look at the cuts on my nose, stitches aren't going to do anything because they weren't deep. They were superficial. I probably will have scarring from it. Stitching them up, there just wouldn't have been enough skin to pull tight on it. Like, it just wasn't lacerated that badly, where the laceration was under my nose and where all the blood was coming from. I'm not going to blame Bane. I'm sure I must have done something to startle him. Karen has a friend who said dogs that age get cataracts. He might not have seen what was happening and just in reaction went and bit at what was coming at him, not realizing it was me.
Let me just say, Ken, if you got that close to me and tried to kiss me on the top of the head, I probably would have reached up and tried to bite your nose too. So just an FYI, it's probably not Bane. I mean, I love you and everything, but just...
I try not to make it a habit of doing that to animals or people. I guess Karen's dealt with it okay for close to 30 years, but for me, it was an experience that I will never forget. I mean, it wasn't like, and I'm not diminishing anybody that's been bitten by a dog, like in the leg or the arm or whatever, but having that come right into your face and just right in front of your eyes, just feeling it, it was like in slow motion or something. It was so bizarre. You and I are so alike, right? At any moment during whatever is happening, we will find a way to make something funny. Right. And so Karen was like, I think we should go to urgent care. I'm like, yeah, but I don't want Bane to have a record.
He's going to have to be quarantined. No,
Exactly.
not Bane, you. Yeah.
Dog bite.
Yeah. Well, you and I are the same way, self-deprecating humor, and we look at ourselves because That's what we are. And I'm not saying you.
Right.
I walk around here, I'm like, there's a target on me with the grandkids, with the animals, with the spouse, with whoever else there is. I'm okay with that because I'll do it to myself first just because I think it's funny and you got to kind of poke at yourself. I can just imagine, for some reason I just thought about it, so is Bane. I can just picture the dog going, so you wanted to name me Bane after Batman villain? So, Ken, you want a nose piercing, don't you? Let me get it for you. That's just the only thing I could think of. When you named him Bane, I was just like, that's the first thing I go to.
Well, first of all, I would like to correct the record right here about that. That was my son Kyle who named him Bane. That was not me. And I thought it was absolutely ridiculous at the time. But now it makes so much more sense with his attitude he carries with him these last few years. It is a name that matches perfectly for the character that he has become in his old age. It is so appropriate, but it was just a crazy event. I'm still kind of in, I don't want to say awe of it, but it is a freaky thing. And because it's from something you don't expect, right? It caught me so off guard. Like I was not prepared for that to happen, and the 99.9% of my feelings about Bane just never thought it would happen.
Well, it's a respect then, because you don't want to take for granted thinking that these animals that you've cared for all these years and treated very well are not going to, at some point, act like an animal. I mean, because they are still animals. Yeah. And it's one of those things that either because they're rescues, there can be some unpredictability even years later, or just the fact that you said they're aging. They don't have the same temperament as they used to, and their physicality, their issues are changing. They may not feel well, or like you said, their eyesight may not be as baseline as it used to be when they were younger, but it's what happens. I mean, you remember my story, and I've had multiple stories about
yes, you have.
Animals kind of finding their way home. I say it's a funny story, but at the time it wasn't funny. I went outside to check on something in the front yard. Our old dog Rita and young Sparky came out with me. They noticed a cat in the tree. And I was like, uh-oh, both Rita and Sparky, they didn't like other animals in our yard. And they would make sure they knew about it. So they're barking up this tree, and I'm just thinking, oh boy. Well, I went to pick up Rita, and she's a medium to large size dog. Picked her up because she was older, and I was going to walk back in the house, and then Sparky would follow us. Well, then the cat, in all its intelligence, decides to jump right in the middle of us as I'm carrying this big dog with this other medium-sized dog back to the house. Well, as soon as the cat hit the ground, it was like one of those cartoons where all you see was clouds and dirt and claws and everything. I hit the ground, still carrying the one. Sparky goes over and starts going after the cat. So then the cat decides to latch onto my legs. Now, mind you, I'm wearing shorts. And it latches on with its claws and starts gnawing through my skin and scratching the heck out of me. One of the other dogs got it off of me, and I got back up and went to the house. Well, in the meantime, my daughter had locked the door for some reason. I'm banging on the door. Let me in. Let me in. I'm going to blow this house in. That kind of thing, the 3-pin. So then she lets me in. She goes, what happened? And I says, I don't know, but I knew right away I had to go to urgent care. There were some injuries that took several weeks to heal, but a week or two after that, my wife says, I just found that cat that bit you. I'm like, what? Yeah, it was underneath a bush, and it had expired. She goes, great. I love animals, and there's a cat that comes up, bites you, and it ends up dying. I'm like, okay, whatever.
Luckily, you didn't have to get rabies shots or anything like that. I would have been paranoid about that. I'm glad you didn't have to have any other things done because of that. That's just crazy.
Well, they had to keep the wounds open, basically. There was nothing they could do. There was this big holes. They did give me 3 different shots. They were like antibiotic and some other kind of thing to ward off diseases.
Wow.
What was going on with the animal. And they said, can you go back and trap it? I have no idea where the thing went. So if I find it...
Trap it, my leg's falling off them.
And I still see these feral cats around the area to this day. I made the deal with the cat king, with the cat queen. You guys are not to be in this yard. They go away, then that's it.
They got their vengeance. It's crazy. I've only ever had dogs. I've never had cats because I'm just not a cat guy. I'm not a cat fan. Also allergic to cat dander. But within an hour of that happening and everything calming down, Karen cleaning blood off the carpet, and I'm just sitting up in bed, and I've got an ice pack on my nose. I've got bandage. I mean, it was just a freak show. Karen gets done. We're all getting ready to go to bed, and Bane runs up the little step ramp to our bed because he's too tiny to jump up, and just puts his butt right down next to me like nothing ever happened. Like, we're good. Dogs have those types of memories. It's on to the next thing. Whatever happened, happened, but that's in the past, and we're good to go. I'm not mad at him at all. You just can't be, because they're just reacting to whatever happened, and he reacted.
My concern, though, is that he's putting his butt next to you. What proximity to you is this butt? Because I'm thinking he may have some other kind of ulterior motive here.
Look, I know we're a family show here and everything, but I'm telling you, that's what Karen and I both call facing the end of the barrel. What I mean?
Yeah.
Because for a little guy, he lets off some noxious fumes. So you have to be very careful where you decide you're going to lay your head on the pillow.
Sure.
Before you go to sleep and see where Bane is positioned. He will fire and fall back. It's just a technique. And so, yeah, I'm very cognizant of where everything is at before I fall asleep, because you don't want that happening.
So, kid, you think you can get away from me in the bed? Let me tell you what I'm going to do next, so exactly what to expect.